All right. All right. So this is the Purpose Project, everybody. And this is a good buddy of mine, Hudson, who was willing to take a risk and, have a discussion. Um, we've only done, or not we, I guess I've only, done two videos previously to this, assuming that I end up posting this. So to anyone else out there that's interested, that watches this video and is interested in the Purpose Project, it's a positive initiative, and we're going to be talking about, about Hudson. This is his opportunity to highlight his story and tell us about, his thoughts of life. And we'll see what happens down the line. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, so I guess without further ado, Hudson, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, possibly?
Yeah, sure. I want to start off by saying thanks, Will. It's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be invited onto the podcast. Just a little about me. So Will and I both graduated from Swickle Academy. We're about 4 years apart. I'm currently a sophomore at Miami of Ohio, studying human capital management as my major with a minor in Chinese. Um, let's see. Aside from school, I love going to the gym. I love reading. I have a job as a bouncer right now at school, and that I really love. Like it's a great family run business. Um, I just, I love to be, disciplined with my work, but at the same time have a balance and be well rounded and be able to spend time with my friends and family. But yeah, that's a little bit about me and how I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, I mean, even from, knowing you in the past, I mean, knowing you, going through high school, I mean, and from what you just said, I mean, to anyone out there looking for a role model, I mean, Hudson, you seem to have figured something out in life, I mean, you've got a lot going for you, you know, being a bouncer is awesome, and I'm sure, do you enjoy school? It's my
Oh,
first
I love school.
possibly.
I love school. I first semester freshman year joined a business fraternity, Pi Sigma Epsilon, and it's great. I mean, there's such a good network of just really hardworking people. And my big in the business fraternity, it's co-ed. So my big, her name's Annie Chang, and she's like a sister to me. Like, she helps me out with everything that I need, whether it's like professionally with like looking for internships and stuff, or just like life stuff. And I got a lot of other people there that I call family, not only in my business fraternity but just at the school. So it's just really been a great experience of growth for me so far.
Yeah, I have a couple things to say about that. I'll just say it out loud because I'm possibly will forget. Um, okay, so the first one is, about fraternities. And I think there's a decent probably set amount of people in the population that might have mixed reviews about fraternities. So what can you tell us? Like, do you think fraternities are like kind of like, how, what's your perspective of a fraternity actually being in one? Like, how do you like what benefits do a fraternity provide to you?
So I want to clarify. So a business fraternity is different than like a social fraternity.
Okay.
Whereas, so we're focused on like on professional development stuff where we'll be
All right.
working on projects with clients, actual businesses and stuff. Whether it's
Yeah.
like small businesses or like I remember freshman year, our like new member project we needed to do. I got to work with P&G
Hmm.
on some stuff with their Pantene line. So for me, I mean, I can't speak for social fraternities because I'm not in one. But
Yeah.
private my business fraternity, it's been a great experience, and I think anybody who is in the business world and is looking to develop their professional skills, their marketing skills, whatever, um, it's the way to go because I think it
Cool.
teaches not only the hard skills that you learn in class, but also the soft skills of communication and things like that that really elevate your game when it comes to looking for work or just
Yeah.
for like normal life interactions really.
Yeah. I hope, yeah. I mean, I have a couple things to say about that. I mean, well, so I mean, this might sound hypocritical because I don't go to college because I dropped out of college actually
Mhm.
twice actually. And I hope, for all those individuals watching the Purpose Project, like, oh, why am I watching a podcast of some kid that's a college dropout? But I, thoroughly plan on having many individuals who currently attend college or have attended college because I genuinely think like there's so many benefits of college. So do you think like if you didn't go to college, like you would have been able to network like you are now? Or do you think that college really does open up, a big door for networking and such?
I think it opens up a big door for networking. I can speak for so the business school at Miami of Ohio, the Farmer School of Business is a really good school when it comes to networking. I recently I took in the fall an entrepreneurship class where I got to like design um like a sort of startup that nothing that was like taken to the real world, but
Hmm.
at least have that experience of developing one. And me and my team was able to like reach out to so many different professionals when it came to like the startup that we were looking to build
Yeah.
through the entrepreneurship program, which was so nice. But even if I wasn't in college, I'd like to say there are ways to develop a network when you're not in college.
Huh.
It's all about who you meet and having
Yeah.
meaningful interactions with people
Yeah.
that scratch past the
Yeah.
surface value.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. So interesting story. Last night I was going out to the bar to, to meet individuals trying to find a girlfriend. So if there are any girls out there that are watching this podcast, this is a serious podcast, but I'm, seriously looking for a girlfriend because it relates to my purpose. I want to have a family.
Mhm.
But anyway, I know you work at a bar. You're a bouncer,
I
and I
am.
was going to a bar, so that's an interesting connection.
That's
A little
right.
bit tangential, but the point being is, I went to a bar last night, and this kind of, I guess you're in college, obviously, and once again, I would never like, and unless it's like you're gonna end up with a lot of student debt. Like if your family can afford college, I would say go out there and send it. But for me, it's like I've come to the realization that in a lot of cases, you can do just fine out of college. And I'm not recommending that in any sense. But I'm basically saying the story is last night I went out to a bar and I myself am interested in startups. So hopefully one day, maybe me and you down the line, like get together. And this is the first time, like I know Hudson, but this is the first time like on the podcast, we're talking about it now. Like
Mhm.
maybe sometime down the line, we get together and make some businesses happen, you know?
Dude, we're building a network right now. Look at that.
Anyway, exactly, yeah. And yeah, I mean that'd be another purpose of the Purpose Project
Mhm.
podcast initiative. But anyway, getting back to the story, I went out to a bar and I don't know what to expect. I mean, I know like, we live in Pittsburgh and in Pittsburgh there's the North Shore and South Side,
Mhm.
um, like East Carson Street. And I checked out the North Shore because I'm in, we're from Sewickley. I'm typically, used to things being aesthetically pleasing, and the North Shore is just objectively more aesthetically pleasing than the South Shore. Not judging it. Anyway, walk into the bar, end up having this conversation with this guy, and he gives me basically an idea for free, a business idea that's like a great idea. Um, and it's like, who would have thought like going out to a bar, you know, making this network. Um, I don't know how many, businessmen would honor and follow through, I guess, with you know like I don't know how many businessmen would necessarily like respect someone that they met at a bar. I
Mhm.
mean, I know if I had a business and I met some like super passionate motivated kid that's wanting to do startups, like I would at least consider. um
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I guess moral of like that analogy kind of is like it doesn't really matter if you're in college or out of college, you can still do businesses. Guys like
Absolutely.
Duck, like I know who else? Like Warren Buffett, like he didn't graduate college. Mark Zuckerberg, to the best of my knowledge, the story is that he didn't graduate college. So to anyone
Mhm.
out there that's like, you know, thinking, should I do college, should I not? Like my suggestion would be if you're not 100% certain of going to college, then don't go to college. Only go to college if you're maybe not 100%, but like, because I'm a little ambitious, but like just make sure you want to go to college. And if your family has, plentiful money, then go to college and try it out. You can always, drop out and go back in. But if you're in a stretch for money and you're just doing things because that's just what you think you have to do, no, you don't have to go to college. There are plenty of jobs out there, whether it be restaurants or not, where you could, do that for, a couple of years. And if you want to go to college, after maturing a little, you could always do that. But I think Hudson and I are fortunate enough that our families, you know, whether it be luck or not, like our families, you know, have, to the best of my knowledge, and I'm assuming in your case, like the financial ability to send us to college.
Mhm.
I know I had a great time at college for the most part. I really did. It's a great place to be around people our age, young 18 to 25-year olds, like study, you know, go out, assuming you're over 21. And even if you're not, I mean, it's college, so like that's underage drinking is going to happen. But I mean, college is awesome, and I'm definitely not one to like dismiss college at all. I'm really not. Like, I'm not one to dismiss college in any sense. I think it's a very valuable thing, and it's something to do, as you're transitioning into the quote unquote real world. I don't know if you have any like, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I don't think college is the only route. And I think if you're like you said, if you're not sure about it, you can take your time, get a job, save up some money. Um,
Yeah.
for me, the choice to go to Miami was made sense because I got a lot of scholarship money to go there. So I was basically paying in-state tuition, which is nice. And I knew like of it, I visited, it was a beautiful campus. I knew they had what I wanted. So that made an easy choice for me. And the thing you were talking about, like, 95 to 100% sure you want to do it, like that's kind of where
Yeah,
that's kind
95. I mean, I think
of where I was.
100%. I think 100%. It's kind of tough to even determine like how do I even know if I'm 100% dead
100% is
serious.
hard, but like, I could not even to quantify it. I was very certain that's where I wanted
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
and what I wanted to do,
That's where Big Ben went, bro. That's where Big Ben
but
went.
I think that uh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
He did well
they
for
got a lot of
himself. Yeah.
stuff about a lot of jerseys.
I mean, he
Oh
crashed
yeah.
a motorcycle and all, but I mean, he did well for himself if we forget
He did
about
well
that.
for himself there. Yeah.
Couple Super Bowls, millions of dollars in the bank.
Nothing too shabby.
I don't know if Hudson's going to the NFL or not, but
Oh, I always wanted to play football, but I never got the chance. Maybe I was
I'm
joking
not
with my
ruling
buddy.
you out,
I
bro.
gotta train this summer and maybe try out for like the club team.
I'm not ruling it out in any sense, bro.
Yeah, dude. I feel
So I
like
have another thing I want to talk about. What is your like
yeah, yeah.
oh, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just saying,
Oh, sorry.
you never
Sorry.
too late to really rule anything out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
that's right there. Did you guys hear it? Anybody watching, it's never too late to rule anything out.
mhm.
You can always adjust. That is something that I've, live by. I try, I am a creature of habit, so I guess in ways I could be hypocritical,
Mhm.
but I thoroughly, I'm behind that, you know, most things are adjustable,
Mhm.
In life there's change and, you can adjust from being in a situation. If you go to a college, you don't like it, then you can always go to a different college. If you don't like that college, you can then go to a different college or drop out and work and or go back to college. So there's so many options. But anyway, something important to me is optimism, is trying to find the silver lining, as many would call it, just in life, through how important is that to you? Like, does that matter to you? Optimism at all? Is that a value per se of yours?
I I would say to an extent, I think it's important not to be pessimistic about things that are out of your control. That's something I kind of learned in the last couple of years. When things don't go your way, it's
Yeah.
important to kind of just, treat it as a learning experience and move forward and like you said, find the silver lining of how that failure will benefit you, because I think failure is a part of life and pressure is a privilege, right? If we don't fail, we don't grow. It's like flexing a muscle. You don't work that muscle, it won't grow. So it's important with each failure to address it, yeah, sure, but find the learning lesson in it and take that aspect of optimism in order to teach yourself uh what you need to learn in order to better yourself down the road and make those adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, I've on my LinkedIn, I say my description as I actually updated it last night. So I'm ever evolving, ever changing on a daily basis.
Mhm.
Especially if you follow me like Hudson does on multiple accounts. So I give him so much credit for that. I very much appreciate that. Don't have many followers, but I will
Of course, bro.
make it a life mission. um what was I gonna say? Uh Optimism. Um oh, I mean, yeah, I mean for me, I guess I don't know if I necessarily have a response to that, but I think that oh, the teaching about like I think everyone, ultimately um is a student of life, you
Mhm.
know. I think primarily there are teachers, workers, and students, if I were to generalize, but I think primarily everybody, whether they like it or not, is a student of life. And there's just so many lessons, even on a daily basis. You know me, the Daily Mail wisdom on a daily basis, at least over the previous couple weeks. Excuse me. I have on a daily basis been um, like searching for wisdom. So whether it's, necessarily talking with others or just driving and not necessarily having conversations with other people, but just more so just thinking about, life. And I had a good friend of mine, Hudson is reminding me, um, through the sentiment of being um, a student of life. And I should probably implement this more than I do. Charlie, um, I spent time with him out west, and he said at the end of each day, he would just try to think about things that he could do to better himself, or situations where he could have not acted, or expressed himself, for a lack of better words, um, how he could have expressed himself in possibly a more positive and uplifting way to others. Um, I think first and foremost, and I will say this again in other purpose projects, I think there's no shame in messing up. You mentioned failure. That would be, a slight disagreement that we possibly have. I understand in terms of communicating, like, oh, like obviously, you know, if you break like if you do something like, stupid and break your foot, like you'd say, like, oh, that's a failure. But ultimately, is there anything wrong with that necessarily? Like morally? I don't think so. But I understand what you're talking about in terms of seeing like a situation like breaking your foot and being like, how could this better myself? And be like, oh, like maybe I could go on the computer and learn a new language or something. Maybe I could learn how to code for my consulting company or something. It's like I think there's always opportunity even when, you know, you're, you know, even when you're in like the depths of, so-called suffering or pain, you might not want to hear that like, optimism in those moments, but I think even then, going through those moments, I mean, clearly you have a lot of insight already. So I'm assuming like, growing up in Swickley, like everyone perceives like whoever knows about Swickley that's watching this podcast, everyone like perceives it to be like, you know, in a bubble without any difficulties. And in a lot of ways, like in ways that's true. I don't want to say in a lot of ways, but undoubtedly, like I was in Swickley and I was lost and confused about so many things. And I don't want to project that. I don't want anyone to feel that. I don't think anyone has to feel that. I don't, like I said, I do not want anyone to feel suffering or pain personally, because, like, I think there's something to be said for embracing suffering and pain because it is in a lot of ways inevitable. Um, but I hear you. I don't know if you have a response about that, or we can move on to like another point of conversation.
I guess one thing I'd say is sometimes with failure, it's not always a
Yeah.
suffering and pain. Like not like so like I like the example of breaking your leg and like, oh yeah, you can use that opportunity. What's the silver lining? I can use that time that I'd use, with something else to learn something new. There's also like that aspect of failure where you put yourself in difficult positions that are out of your comfort zone, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's, trying out for like a club team and at college for like a sport, or interviewing for like a couple of jobs, going out and applying and having that initiative to look for internships or anything like that. Like you're not gonna get accepted every single time, but it's about the process and working hard. And even if you see that failure, knowing how to adapt. Or even like, if you're in school and you work hard and I've had this happen. I'm a Chinese minor, and some of the tests are hard. Last semester, I'd study really hard, and I'd still not too well on a test. And it's just like, okay, what do I need to do next in order to um, do better? Because I'm already working hard, but I still didn't see the result, right?
Yeah,
What's the next step I need to take in order to become successful? And
yeah.
that's always what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take that next step in order to elevate myself in all capacities of life.
You're trying to be the best. Like you're trying to improve basically.
Yeah, to be the best version of myself I can. Yeah, physically, mentally, emotionally,
Yeah.
all
So
the
I
time.
mean, I would say those have been two themes of my life actually. And I have a, a question as well that might be a slightly difficult question, but
Mhm.
taking risks or just putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and then also being rejected. For
Mhm.
myself, growing up in Swickley, it's like, why does a kid in Swickley like have his ears pierced? Why does he go to why does he go down to East Carson Street by himself? Why does he do all of these things? Why does he do this? Why does he do that? Literally, just like you said, simple. Because I want to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I want to learn more about myself. I want to see what I can do. I want to see how I can interact with others that, in ways grew up very much different than I did.
Mhm.
Um, have I failed in conversations? Yes.
Mhm.
Have I failed a lot in conversations? It's actually been more more things have gone right for me when I've pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. At work, for example, like going up to individuals, talking with them. Like this summer, I was just strictly focused on busing. Didn't basically want, I mean, I would, talk with people, but it's like now I'm putting myself way outside of my comfort zone, like talking with so many different people. I'd recommend it strongly. Have I gotten criticism? Yes. What do I call it though? Constructive criticism. Sure, you've heard of that term before, you know? You've definitely heard of constructive criticism. And whenever you push yourself, like you put yourself outside of your comfort zone, it's inevitable that someone's going to have a problem with you. Someone's going to have a problem. You call it constructive criticism as a lighter word, or you can just call it like, someone's not you specifically, but I know on a daily basis, like when I go into the restaurant, I know there's going to be probably other employees and customers that have a problem with me, and how I do my job. But it's like you can't please everyone at the end of the day. At the same time,
Exactly.
you have to
Exactly.
realize that like, that's rejection. And like for me and you, because I know I'm definitely sensitive and emotional. I don't know about you, but I
Mhm.
genuinely am. Like yesterday, I went to church and teared up. Today, woke up, look at a picture of, this is real, like and accurate. Like this, I woke up today, see a picture of my little cousin who just had surgery, almost start crying. It's like I actually love to cry. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I can't, but it's like that's kind of beside the point, honestly. But because it's like kind of like guys, like it's like, emotional, yada yada yada. But basically, like sorry, that's my alarm for work. Um, but I mean, yeah, the point being, like you're saying, I mean, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. I'm sure going to college was exactly that, meeting a completely new set of individuals, studying, things that you haven't studied before.
Mhm.
And, even I mean, you're in the process, I'm assuming, right, of going back to college soon. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm driving back tomorrow. Classes start on
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah. Yeah, that's what you were saying. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you've like, do you feel more comfortable than you did like as a first year or freshman?
I'd say so. I mean, you definitely, figure out the lay of the land. And you have your people. I think that my people, like the amount of people I knew last year was a little bit smaller than this year. I think last year was like my business fraternity that kind of opened up my circle, and got to meet a lot of people. And this year with my bouncer job, you meet a lot of people, not even from school, just from the area, like people from the town or the towns around, which is so great because no, you don't always have time to chat, but sometimes you have a conversation if you're sitting outside and there's like, tables all around, and someone will just come up and just start talking about their life or something like that. And it's always so great because it's taking in different perspectives from people that have lived different lives than you. So I always find those conversations, even if it's like 2 in the morning, we're about to close, like super enriching. And it really, the last 2 years, over time, I guess, just my circle is definitely like expanded and I've gotten more and more comfortable. And I think it's a good thing to be comfortable, but I'm still trying to find ways to be uncomfortable in order to push
Oh, yeah,
myself forward.
that's it. Yeah, I think like being like completely comfortable in all situations is, almost like it could be called like, psychotic or psychopathic,
Mhm.
But I mean, like that would be like the pessimist view. I think, for myself, I've learned to be comfortable in situations that I think most would not. And that's purely been based off of, and not even on my own will. Like, my family contributed, literally just like, you know, taking direction and being like, Will, like you're going to do something about, what's going on. I mean, that brings up a whole different topic of conversation. Like I think Hudson, you've probably seen my wisdom, but have this philosophy of when things are going right, don't make something up, don't make something stupid up in your head to bring you down to suffering or pain. Like don't if things are going well, just keep doing well. Like don't think about like just keep embracing that. And I'm not saying you like
Mhm.
I am saying that to you, but it's like even for me, like I gotta remember, like if I'm doing well at work, yada yada yada, I don't want to make up some stupid thing that, from the past, some regret or something that just some little thing that I said to like one person. I mean, it's like I know that like everyone and everything matters. It's like I want to treat everyone as best as I possibly can, but that's not going to happen in every situation. It's just not, especially with like, you know, not to be like narcissistic or like self-centered, but like especially with the amount of individuals that I talk to on a daily basis, at least over the previous, couple of weeks, that is. And in a
Mhm.
restaurant, you're going to be talking with a bunch of people and having a lot of interactions. So, I mean, it's impossible to please everyone, is what I've realized. Um, so I think even just like not caring is something that I know I'm working on, at least to balance off of what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I mean, slightly different. There's like not really caring so much about what other people think of me. I remember when I was younger, at Swickley Academy, right? At banquets and stuff, you give speeches. I prepared questions. We haven't really even used any of the questions. We just kind of been talking.
Right.
And I remember I would prepare these speeches and I would have so much difficulty like thinking about things. And even when I, came to like giving the speech and stuff, I would like stutter and like, not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but like I just wasn't that confident in myself. And I'm 23. How old are you? You're 21, correct?
I'm 19.
Oh, you're 19. Oh, wow.
Yep.
So it's like the amount of growth, the amount of personal growth that you can achieve from even like 18 to 23, the amount of personal growth that you can achieve within 2 weeks even. But ideally it's like, it like happens over time, like all of this wisdom and stuff that I'm just now posting on social media, like that's been, a product of me doing a lot of thinking over multiple years, you
Mhm.
know, at the least, multiple years and mentors that have, and guys like you, like, I was even thinking of writing down like next time, the next time I do a purpose project with someone, I'm gonna have a notebook and write down stuff that they say so I can, put it in the on the Daily Mail wisdom so that other people like you and I can, hopefully appreciate and, and or have something to think about, you know.
Mhm.
I think wisdom is invaluable. What are your thoughts on wisdom? Like, why do you follow my Daily Mail wisdom? Not to put you on the spot. If you don't know, you can say I don't know.
No, no, absolutely. With wisdom, I think it's just important, going back to like taking in different perspectives, to try to soak in all that you can, because I think that knowledge is in general is so valuable. I think it's important to. I think I like going off of wisdom. I think it's really important to read or like
Yeah.
watch like film or stuff like that, because there's so many different things that you can take away from it, and just consuming the like different aspects of media and being able to use your critical thinking in order to like uh, figure out what those things mean to you.
Yeah.
Uh, and just being able, like I said, to soak in as much as possible is really invaluable. And I think, you were only on this earth for so long. And I think it's just important to learn all that you can, because for me,
That's I
learning
mean
is
that's direct
learning
and
is
my
a
wouldn't
purpose
have
of
been.
mine.
What do you say?
Learning is like a purpose of mine. I enjoy continuing to learn outside, even not even in school, just outside of school, just different little things. I just make it a priority to, in all facets of life, continue to grow and improve. And I think wisdom is an ingredient of how you grow and improve.
Yeah. Like I said, I try to embrace a lot of things that I say to the best of my ability. Um, and I'm growing, you're growing, we're all growing it's almost impossible not to grow or change in any sense. You'd have to be very much caught up in your ways to be direct with anyone that is like that. And
Mhm.
once again, I'm not saying that you're wrong for, being stuck in your ways. I'm not talking about you because I guess I am as well, but I feel like at the same time, I think for the both of us at least, we have been successful in life so far, graduated from Swickley Academy, one of the best private schools in Western PA. You played sports, you're working out, like you're doing all these things. So it's like to anyone that would like to be like us, I feel like Hudson might be, possibly a more logical and, better role model than myself, at least at the moment. And most likely, assuming he continues on his trajectory, which I hope he does in terms of the entrepreneur, the working out, all that good stuff. It's like because at the same time, it's like Hudson, I'm sure realizes it's like he doesn't have to work out. There's no one, right? Is there anybody that's like forcing you to work out?
No, it's
So
just
you realize it's a choice. Like you choose to work out.
yeah. I mean, I
Is
got
that
into
because like is that because it helps you with purpose and it helps you like why do you do that?
well, I think it's important, like I said before, to better yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. Lifting for me, it kind of filled a void just after graduating of sports. Like I wasn't able to play sports after high school. I wasn't like not playing like any sport at Miami. Um, and I just started working out like six days a week. And at first it was like I thought that's what people did when they worked out, and then I kind of realized like not everybody's in there like 6 days a week, every week, and I was like, I didn't know that wasn't necessarily normal for everybody, and I was like, it's not that bad. Why don't I just keep doing it? It's just kind of discipline, like being in there just makes me feel good. I always push myself to be better every workout.
Yeah.
Um, I would personally, I want to do some amateur powerlifting in the next couple
Dude,
of
that's
years. That's
awesome,
something
bro.
that's something I want to do. Just kind of a goal for myself. I love just setting goals with hitting like
Bro,
new
that's
numbers with
awesome, bro.
lifting.
Yeah,
Uh, it
that's
just
unique, dude. That's unique.
it keeps me hungry. It really does.
Does it keep like, are you happy? Like, does it make you happy to work out, possibly?
Yes, it makes me very happy.
Because I know, like, playing basketball with you in the summer, like, you were like, I think I was guarded. Like, you were just like bodying me. Like, I was just like a tumbleweed, just like on the basketball court, especially on defense. I'm not great at defense, um, unless it's like a zone or something. But bro, you just look so happy, and it's like for guys like you, I mean. It's like you gotta have like I really hope you have friends at college that are supportive, very much supportive, and want you to be happy too. I'm sure there's got to be a couple at least that
Oh,
want you to be
absolutely.
happy. Because you remind me of like my little cousin. Like you remind me of my not that possibly could have come off wrong in terms of like your personality. Because I'm so big on personalities and stuff.
Uh,
And she I know is super happy as well. And oftentimes these sweet and happy individuals can just get slapped around in life. And it's like, I like if you, I've already told you this multiple times, and I'm not just saying this because, in a lot of ways, this purpose project, assuming, anyone else actually watches this, would be a way for like other people, to get to know me and my, ambitious, my own ambitious, endeavors. But like if you like and or anyone else, I say this, I will say this time and time again ever need to reach out, ever want, to be uplifted, or to be like, if you ever have like a question about anything, like, Will, what should I do here? What are your thoughts? because I'm a
Uh,
little older. I feel like I could mentor you. I mean, you once again, you're in college. I've been through college. I might go back to college, but it's like I just want you to know first and foremost that I want you to be happy. I want you to do what you want to do, and I want you to be successful. And if you ever need anything, I want you, if you want to reach out to me.
no,
Um,
dude, absolutely. And likewise, yeah, if you ever need anything,
yeah,
I think it's important to have those lifelines of people you can rely on and for advice and just a certain outlook.
dude, yeah, it's a
But
shame.
that's invaluable to me. I appreciate that, Will.
It's a shame you're going back to college tomorrow because, excuse me. Oh my gosh. That happens sometimes with my car. Like, the screen will like blip on and off. My voice sometimes goes on and off, and it's a shame, seriously, that you're going back to college tomorrow because we could go out, into Pittsburgh and have a good time and stuff.
Mm.
Once again, if anyone's like watching, it's like, how does this relate to purpose at all? Like, why are these guys talking about going out to bars? I understand that honestly, but I think a big thing for me, genuinely, and I will talk about this hopefully, assuming I remember in every purpose project podcast I do nowadays. I think especially with our generation, and it's even extended to our parents and our grandparents, life isn't boring, but it's like, I mean, I have this big thing of like having fun, and it's like I think everyone deserves to have fun and embrace life. Obviously, I'm aware of like risks and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you follow my daily mail wisdom, I think, ultimately, when we perceive there to be a risk, oftentimes, it's like, you know, maybe not as significant as some as like the risk is like, it's definitely there, but it's like it doesn't matter in terms of like the risk as much as we think. And oftentimes, like even like going through like being surrounded by a risk and pushing through that risk, it just makes you feel really good and helps you have a good time. Doing things that aren't really like recommended and stuff, being like a rebel for lack of better words, is just like liberating in a lot of cases because like I have realized it's like you can do whatever you want. There is nothing stopping you. God probably would love you even more for doing things that you just genuinely want to do and just are happy about. I am by no means recommending a lot of the things that I do, genuinely, but I just think it's just very important for all of us to find things that we are passionate about and love to do. And if you love to do good and healthy things, like working out, if that's something that you love to do, which I'm sure it is, I'm not doubting you,
Mm.
like that just is a win-win situation because, it's healthy, you know, like it's healthy and it's a good thing. Like it's, I mean, something to do and something that, keep you busy and moving forward and learning more.
Mhm.
I've had this one thing, it's a somewhat of a depressing thought that of like life just being for the intrinsic value, just like life just being, not going through the motions, but
Mhm.
that there really isn't a purpose. Like things are just kind of happening and we're making up the purpose and stuff. Which like that could not be farther from the truth. It really couldn't. There's truth to that statement, but it's like genuinely to anyone out there is watching the Purpose Podcast initiative, like watching this video right now, and is thinking like, yep, there's no purpose. Like, God, yeah, there is so much purpose. Yeah, even if we do make it up, like, who cares? It's like
Mhm.
there's purpose. Like we are forward motion. We
Yeah.
are forward motion. Like,
Mhm.
so it's like, I went to yoga the other day and it's like they say like surrender to that. Like surrender to like, the fact that it's forward motion and just like embrace and be willing to learn more on a daily basis in whatever you do. If you work in a restaurant, you can learn things from customers, employees, yourself. Like you can have thoughts while you're working and stuff, wisdom, business ideas. Same with working out. I mean, it's like there's so many different ways to like grow as an individual, and that's like one of the main things that I want to like pin down in this purpose project. You know, like you don't have to do necessarily everything right in the eyes of others to necessarily have purpose. You could cultivate your own purpose and your own life. At the same time, it's like I'm aware that like I want to be involved with other people. I want to go out to bars with other people, but at the same time, I want to do business with other people. It's hard to do business just with you, but at the same time, it's like I know that the only person that I really need at the end of the day is myself. I know that. And I think everyone's got to be like everyone's got to grit up and like realize that it's not necessarily the sweetest thing, but I think it's very accurate. The only thing that you really, really need in life is just you.
Mhm.
And then you can want other things like want, to have friends, want to have a girlfriend, want to have a boyfriend, want to have, a trans friend, want to have, you know, a dog as a friend, want to have a fish, it's like you could have all of these wants and desires, but at the end of the day, the only thing in my book that you really need to do is be there for you. And it's like, that's my opinion. And,
Mhm.
what are your thoughts about that?
I agree. I forget which Instagram page it was for you. Probably the wisdom is a post either yesterday or today of be selfish. And it's
Yeah.
kind of funny because it's like,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like a positive, or
Yeah.
it sounds like
Yeah.
a connotation, but it's kind of true. You got to look out for yourself in certain ways. It's important to make sure that you're doing good, first and foremost. Um, when it
Yeah.
comes to just with anything in life, because I think the better you are, the healthier you become, physically, mentally, emotionally, uh, the better you can treat other people, and the better interactions you will have, because you'll be more understanding of yourself,
Yeah.
more confident, and yeah.
I mean, like I'm not like I would say like I'm more self-centered than I was growing up and stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm selfish, but I truly mean that, like be
Yeah.
selfish. It's like
Mhm.
on a daily basis, like being selfish could just simply mean like self-care, like music.
Exactly. It's not like
Like
being greedy. It's not like a
yeah.
greed thing.
No, that's
Exactly.
different. Yeah, I would say I'm very,
Exactly.
very far from I don't know about that. But I mean, what even is a greedy? Like what does that mean?
Oh, I'm saying I feel like it's different. It's not like I don't think that being selfish in the light that you were putting it is negative. It's all
Yeah.
about having a positive connotation. Greed would be uh putting yourself, in situations where it also puts other people down. Right. That's the
Yeah.
difference between being like selfish in the context
Yeah.
that we're talking about it
At the
versus greed.
same time, like I would rebuttal that if that's an appropriate word, because it's like I've been around individuals where it's like I've been very kind and open and they've been unwilling to believe that I'm actually being truthful. And then I've been, negative and stuff, and they're like, oh, he's bad. And
Mhm.
it's like, so how do you want me to interact? And this is where I say, like, for me, it's like I'm like, I'm just gonna be selfish and for lack of, I'm not gonna swear on this, but I'm just gonna do whatever I want. It's like I'm not like I'm going to acknowledge those individuals. And if I ever get a chance to be face to face with those individuals, like in the car, like I will just blast music. And, it's like if someone has a problem with that, it's like, they can stop and we can stop on the side of the road and have a discussion or something. Like that was kind of a joke, but um, it's like the thing is just like at the end of the day, like there's always gonna be like there's nothing wrong with like anyone having a problem with you because in a lot of ways you could look at those individuals as trying to prepare you and really just trying to help you like actually achieve something that they would want you to be. So it's like for me, it's like once again, I have nothing wrong with growing up in Swickley. I'm very happy, very, very happy to be able to have grown up in Swickley actually. Whether it's, the country clubs, like just the family, the four seasons, like being able to ski, travel, like I mean, it was just an awesome upbringing. And it's made me the person who I am now. And some individuals might look at me and be like, what is that guy doing? What is he talking about? I don't understand, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, one, like I would say, like, I don't understand. Like, I was talking with my doctor today and I was like, because I'm often like a people pleaser, you know, at least I was and I will be. And it's like, I just say like, I understand those individuals, but it's like, no, like I don't understand those individuals. I don't, because it's like, I'm saying all these positive things. It's like, yes, like you might not understand, but it's like, if you don't understand, then do something about it. Ask me a question, comment comment here and be like, yo, what are you talking about? What do you mean about this particular thing? Um, it's like, for me, it's like I'm open to many possibilities. Just so that you can get to know me if we do business down the line or something. But just quite simply, just the fact that we're having this conversation and stuff. I am a proponent of individuals expressing themselves in whatever way they choose, but I do not, like I really do not, you know, I don't I don't appreciate it when individuals are focusing on like, you know, not undermining me, but like focusing on
Or like putting you down to
projecting, I would
make
say
themselves feel better.
projecting, I would say like
Yeah.
projecting what they
Yeah.
want for me to be for myself, when it's like I'm a separate person, like I'm an individual like you and like them. It's like I'm also aware that like a lot of that, those opinions could have been based off of their upbringing, and that's a whole different topic of conversation. But it's like, it's like this is where like for you, it's like, you're just like a very sweet kid, and I'm sure you definitely have grit as working out and stuff. In a lot of ways, you might have more grit than myself. Um, but at the same time, it's like, even with like simple things like the earrings, it's like it's a form of expression. It's like it's something that I think is cool. It's like it's just think about it. It's like if someone out there like sees me and is like, that's a guy with earrings, like that doesn't make sense, like yada yada yada. I'm sure like nowadays it's becoming more and more accepted and stuff. Um, but it's like just the smallest thing, like it's literally just like a piece of metal in your ear at the end of the day. In the grander scope of everything, if you
Mhm.
have a problem with me having, not you, but I'm saying like people like at work or something have a problem with me, having a piece of metal in my ear. I would say I don't necessarily like, I respect that, but I don't appreciate it, without getting to know me, of course. It's like I respect that. And like, to be honest, I would love it actually if people called me out. I wouldn't like, I would respect it. I wouldn't appreciate it, if you know what I'm saying. But like, first and foremost, like, I want everyone to express themselves in whatever way they want. But it's like, I know first and foremost how great life can be. And it's like if you choose optimism, I know for a lot of individuals, it's going to be hard work in getting there on a consistent daily basis. And it's just more natural for a lot of individuals to be more pessimistic. And that's okay. But it's like, it's like if you choose optimism, if you choose to go out there on a daily basis and try to impact others in a positive way and try to be sweet, try to be kind and loving, for the most part, life will respond. God, in my opinion, which I believe is real, will respond and help you achieve what you want in a lot of cases. I think, we have to do more physical things, to get to positions, but God would be, and others for that matter would come your way eventually and, help, help you out with whatever. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what's happened with you. You said that you like my optimism and, you know, you think that I possibly have, some been onto something in life, like I've told you, Um, but we talked about optimism once. I think that once again, it's like there have been individuals that have been just fortunate or even just lucky. I think it comes down to luck, personalities and stuff. There are just a large amount of the group of population that just have unfortunately got unlucky, with experiencing more pessimism than, say per se me and you. But on a daily basis, I experience pessimism. I'm sure you do as well. I think it's very difficult not to. I mean, if we're being honest, I think, but I could be wrong as well. I could be wrong. It's just, I know what I know, and I know that there haven't been a lot of individuals that have necessarily expressed, life and articulated it in ways that, per se we're doing right now. I haven't seen any of that on social media ever. I really haven't. I'm not sure if they're individuals that comprehend life but don't actually choose to express it. Actually, upon thinking about it, there's this podcast called Dualistic Unity where they talk about kind of philosophies of life and stuff. So I wouldn't necessarily be copying them. I think that they possibly motivated me, definitely did, to contribute to, you know, individuals that possibly think about life in deeper ways. But I don't know how long we've been doing this for. How long have we been?
Going for a good while.
Has it been what do you know like exactly how long?
I'd say about 50 minutes.
Yeah, so I guess we can close up probably soon because I'm sure you have something that you could be doing besides this, whether it's spending time with family because you're gonna be away from them for at least a couple months. Is that correct?
Yeah, just about 15 weeks.
But you're 19, bro. I mean, you have so much opportunity. Um, like you have so much opportunity. Oh, do you call those people the townies?
Townies, yep.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
At the bottom. Yeah, we got
I
lots
will
of
say
townies.
it's like you can learn like a lot of like knowledge, I'd say, in college. I think like the wisdom and stuff, actually like the townies, not saying all of the time. Like I think a lot of the townies are, I'm not going to put anybody down here. Because I genuinely love to actually put myself out of my comfort zone because I'm used to, being around, like people at country clubs, growing up at least, and just putting myself out there, kind of associating or getting to know people outside of the box, outside, even people that are just down and out. I mean, I think they actually have, a lot of wisdom, and I don't want to say even them, but they also are people and they also matter. So it's like in some way, I don't feel obligated in any sense. I don't. I do not feel obligated in any sense, but I just want and I'm curious to get to know them and even help, individuals that I'm not saying that all townies need help. It's kind of like, you know, not hobos. That's like the homeless people. Like I don't think all homeless people even want help necessarily. I think they're just content, with living on the street and just like we're talking about, just being with themselves, like just needing themselves. They understand that, at least probably some of them do.
Mhm.
But even today for me, it's like, purpose, to wrap this thing up a little, like purpose, could be helping others, purpose could be giving back. And that's something that, at least for myself, I would want to do and would most definitely do, assuming, businesses hit big down the line. I wouldn't just be spending it on myself, even though I say be selfish, I would most
Mhm.
definitely give back and contribute to charities, even if, the political, like I would love to get involved with politics. Obviously, that's a ways away in 23 and, dropped out of college. So that's working at a restaurant. So you guys are probably like, that doesn't make too much sense. But I think, purpose, giving back to others, just even random acts of kindness. Like I had a friend that just said like, you know, at the end of the day, we do reflection and say like, what do you want to do tomorrow? He said random act of kindness, purpose, working out, going to college, like being a part of a business fraternity, playing basketball, spending time with, I don't know if I already said this, spending time with family and friends, purpose is everywhere. It's like, once again, it's like I respect individuals that have a difference of opinion in saying that there exists no purpose. And I've been there actually. I've been there. I've been in places when, I didn't want anything to do with life, to put it lightly. And I've come out of that. And, I'm at the point now where it's like I wouldn't even I would respect those individuals and listen to those individuals that say there is no purpose, but I would, listen to them and hear exactly what they mean. And then I would respectably disagree intensely and say, that those individuals couldn't be farther from, you know, the accuracy of life, in my opinion. I think there's purpose literally everywhere. We didn't even necessarily talk about, purpose too much. We more so just had a discussion and, caught up with each other. And um yeah, I mean, hopefully, if anybody has any recommendations or, Hudson, I'd be more than willing, in a couple months, maybe a month or two, we do this again and,
That'd be great, dude.
talk
Yeah,
about more
absolutely.
stuff. Because we already have stuff to talk about. Like we didn't even run through pretty much any of the questions. I think we maybe, referred to some of the questions a couple of times, but I think, I mean, I think everyone is young at the end of the day. I think, age is, a illusion in a lot of cases to life. And that, a lot of you guys might be like, what are you talking about? I'm sure some of you guys will be like, yo, this guy is woke, bro. It's like, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
me and you, especially, like you're 19, I'm 23. Like, if we don't, we have a lot of opportunity, bro, especially, with our family, like, with, this, even the schools that, like, the school that I could probably get back into in Miami of Ohio, it's probably got an amazing, like, network base. And I mean, startups, like, I already have the ideas, and I say, like, it's all about, the idea. It's all about the idea first and foremost. Then it's about getting the people that are interested in, ambitiously wanting to contribute to business. And then it's about getting the money to actually fund the business. So the purpose project, there's more than one, intention per se. There's more than one intention as to why I'm doing the purpose project. Yeah, I'm sure there's more than one intention as to why you're, there's possibly more than one intention as to why you decided to participate. But at the end of the day, you know, I think, I highlighted some, you know, discussion points about purpose. And I hope you guys enjoyed at least moments of this video to the viewers, assuming there are viewers, that is, um, that have made it this far in the video. And at the very least, Hudson and I would just be able to look back upon this one day when we're chilling on yachts and smoking cigars.
That's right.
Be like, this is when it started. What's the date? January 20th of 2023. That's when the boys got buzzing. And
That's right.
that's when we started. Hudson's gonna, he'll get the college degree so he can, he can, you know, assuming that, you follow through with that. Um, and then I'll continue obviously making ideas, but this is about purpose. This is about purpose. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I'm not sure actually, Hudson, if this closes, it won't close the video actually, but love you guys for watching. If you guys made it this far, you are awesome. Once again, despite some of my opinions, I think everybody is awesome and everybody should express themselves in whatever way they choose. There is so much purpose in that in itself, and that is liberating. Please listen to that. Okay? Please listen to that. Even if you cut me off in traffic, I will get over it. I do not hold resentments personally. You can do whatever with me. I don't want you to hurt me, but it's like you can do whatever with me if that helps you express yourself. That's mad respect, bro, broettes. And we're gonna close it off here because this was a very good discussion in my opinion. You know, next time,
It
you
was
know,
great. Yeah.
next time, Hudson and I will be, slightly older and maybe wiser and have more stories and stuff to talk about, especially since you'll be at college and I will be bulling around in Pittsburgh. Um, but yeah, if once again, yeah, don't know what else.
I'll say, Will, before we end
Yeah,
the video, I was gonna say it's been an honor and a privilege. I'm very appreciative again that you've had me on this podcast, and
yeah,
it's always great to have a conversation with you, man. Because I feel like
yeah,
every time I have a conversation with you, I'm always able to take something away from it. So,
yeah,
I really appreciate it. Yeah,
yeah. I'm also just curious, in doing this purpose project and just like getting to know individuals that I grew up with and or not. I mean, just really just getting to know. And I feel as though, part of me is per se. No, I don't know why I keep saying per se. The third time. Part of me is just genuinely curious and just wanting to talk with other people, personally. So I guess that's, a selfish aspect of, the purpose projects. But I think, you guys as well. I would encourage anyone else to start their own purpose project. I'm actually looking for collaborators. So Hudson, if you want to be a collaborator representative of the Purpose Project, if you have anyone at school, I know you'd probably be busy, but if you have time and know
Absolutely.
anyone that would want to, you would be like functioning like myself. We're kind of equals in this, but you would mostly be leading the conversation, and we could just post it on, the channel that I'm going to be posting this on. If you want to do that, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk. But yeah, no, dude, you know where to find me. So just
Yeah,
reach out to me at any point if you
for
ever
sure,
want.
for
Uh,
sure.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Purpose Project viewers, we love you guys. I'm assuming Hudson loves you guys too.
Yeah, I love you guys.
All right, peace out.
Peace.